And good afternoon from the Dunkers podcast. Now, thank you for listening. Your effort, your ears and your commitment mean everything to us here at the Dunkers podcast. And we've only got one thing that we ever ask, and that is, if you enjoy it, please hit follow, ring the bell, and then you'll know when the new episodes are out. And most importantly, share it amongst your friends. Now, I'd also like to just take this opportunity to thank Emma Wood, who looks after all the social media side for us, and also Jason Hurd, who makes this random sound at least bearable and recordable, because he's the guy that cleans up the messes that I make on microphone. So here we are today, and we are literally in the hills. We're miles away from anywhere, and I'm here with Karen and Dave Quartermain. So we're going to dive into the world of USwim, one of the UK's biggest and boldest open water communities. These folk aren't just about swimming, they're about connection, courage and cold water camaraderie. As we look ahead to the winter swim season, with brave dunkers leading icy plunges in Abersoch and beyond, we'll also explore what drives people to swap duvets for dry robes, why open water communities matter, and how the spirit of cold water swimming continues to ripple across the UK. So zip up your wetsuit, or don't. If you don't want, we won't judge. And join me as we take the plunge with Karen and Dave from USwim. Karen and Dave, good afternoon and welcome to Dunkers podcast.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you. Tell our listener where we are, because it's miles away.
Well, we are in Burnley, Lancashire, at the top of a hill. Yes, with a beautiful autumnal view of woods and trees. It's fantastic up here.
Yeah, and if you look out the window, you'll be able to see Pendle in the distance, home of the famous witch stories, of course.
Of course, yes.
That's outside that window.
Right, okay. So what happens on spooky nights? Anything and nothing?
There's always things happening on spooky nights around here.
This is a spooky place.
I was going to say, I probably shouldn't ask this.
And we won't go into the ghost story surrounding this room where you're sat right now.
Oh, right. No, do you know, people won't believe this, but I'm actually sitting, but minus cows, in a barn, am I not?
Right.
A cow shed.
Yeah, absolutely, an old cow shed.
What a beautiful job you've made of it. Yeah, they would have been spoiled and they'd still been here, you know, Karen.
Yeah, they would.
They would.
It was a whole deluxe level of cow, for sure.
Absolutely. Dave, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an open water swimmer, event organizer, have been swimming since I was very young. My mum was a lifeguard in a local pool, grew up swimming, joining the local club, fell in love with open water. We live by the side of a canal in a place called Marple in Stockport. And that's where we started swimming open water. It's before all the barges were around, so we used to kind of go in from being toddlers. And my mum was on the side, kind of looking after us, and if she saw any rats, she'd shout, rats! So we'd have to swim to the side.
Lovely.
A mad story. My mum was incredible. I remember walking down the towpath once and with the family.
Right.
And somebody was falling in and drowning in the water. So literally, they were going under.
Yeah.
My mum just took her coat off, put the pram to one side and just literally dived in the water, dragged this guy out, spluttering, pulled him onto the towpath and just put a coat back on, and we kind of went to the shops. And it was like, okay, another day in Marple by the side
Absolutely.
of the canal.
And did he know that he'd been saved by a Samaritan, a water Samaritan?
Yeah, I think he knew. We were toddling off to the shops after that, and this guy was sitting on the side dripping wet. But yes, I grew up in that place and attempted to swim the channel a number of times, set up an open water business. So yeah, open water swimming has always been in my DNA, really.
Brilliant. When you say you attempted to swim the channel, what happened then?
Oh yeah.
You mean the English Channel?
The English Channel. I mean, that was, for open water swimmers, that's our Mount Everest.
Is it really?
It really is. Yeah.
Is that just for English open water swimmers, or is that sort of a global thing, that it's a challenge that all swimmers in all countries?
It's global.
Is it really?
It really is. Well, I mean, since 1875, when Captain Matthew Webb sort of like was the first guy to ever swim it,
right?
It's been something that is just gained traction around the world. and especially in the kind of the Commonwealth.
Right.
So it's huge in places like Australia.
Right.
You know, swimming the English Channel is seen as the most iconic open water swim in the world. It's kind of 21 miles, 36 kilometres. And I think it's this symbolic thing from swimming from England to France.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge thing.
It is.
But amongst the Brits, you know, certainly open water swimmers, it's like swimming the English Channel is our kind of like our Mount Everest really is.
Right.
You know, and as a kid growing up as an open water swimmer, you know, and seeing a young guy called, was it Tom Gregory?
Yeah.
He's a 13-year-old. He's a 13-year-old who swam the English Channel. I remember as a kid seeing him swim it and thinking, by heck, if Tom can do it, I'm going to give it a go myself. So even from being a very, very young child, you know, it was always in my kind of wish list.
And DNA almost.
DNA, yeah.
Yeah. And Karen, have you ever wanted, been inspired to want to swim the channel alongside?
No, I haven't. I have to say it's not one of the swims that I've ever wanted to do. I have completed 3 English Channel relays.
Wow.
So I have been across, and I do now go across regularly and support swimmers that I'm training to do the English Channel. So that's part of my job now, isn't it?
Jersey, France.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, so I have done some big swims. I've swam like the length of Windermere. I've swam from Jersey to France, which is 16 miles.
Wow.
So I did do that. That was a swim that I actually did to see if I did want to swim the English Channel, because I just felt a bit of a pressure, like Dave saying, it's the swim everyone
Sure.
has to do.
Yeah.
So I felt pressured that, oh gosh, to be part of this business and relate to these people, I kind of need to have a go at this. So I did lots of relays, and then I did the Jersey France and vomited for like the last 4.5 hours and thought, you know what, I don't think this is for me. And I got, I mean, it was, you know, it was euphoric, and I did the glorious run out to the sand, you know, I'm here. And then I think I kind of like went semi-conscious, unconscious on the way back from all the seasickness, got off the boat and was absolutely fine. Then I went to chicken nuggets and chips and a pint of cider.
As you would.
And went, no, the Channel solos are not for me.
No. But that was, the Jersey swim was pretty significant.
No, it's a pretty big swim, yeah. I just don't think, like Dave was saying about the English Channel particularly, you don't get the kudos for certain swims. So no one's like, oh, Karen, you know, my swim is irrelevant because it's Jersey, France. Yeah. You know, but it's like still a bloody big swim.
It is.
And a tough swim.
Absolutely. So. Before we dive off into a lot more about USwim, Dave, you were saying before we got on air that you obviously know Abersoch, and that's where Abersoch Dunkers hails from, and you've swum around the islands from the beach.
Yeah, love Abersoch. You know, it's one of those places which, as a kid, we went to Talyfan and had a holiday caravan there. So always on the beach, always wandering around the Warren as well. So, you know, to go down there as an adult and do those swims. So a lot of my training swims for things like the English Channel and other big swims was around the islands. So we'd start off at Abersoch Beach. You know, you got that amazing view out to the islands, haven't you?
Absolutely.
So I'd swim around the islands and come back to Abersoch Beach. And I think I worked out it's about 5.5 miles. It's roughly the length of Coniston Water. But tricky, you know, we're not kind of like seafarers. Like you grow up around the tides and the waves.
Yeah.
You know, we're freshwater folk up in the north. You know, we used to Conistons and Windermeres. So to go down there, it's like it requires a real expertise.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we used to go down there regularly, and I used to guide swimmers around the islands. And we had an event down there, Ocean Swim, for a while. You know, and there still is a little bit in me about swimming around Barty Island as well.
That is a big ask, massive ask, because Dave, do you not know that some seafarers on big yachts will not even go through the Sound?
Lightweights.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we'll find that as we go down. I think there's a whole compendium of achievements that you've done. But tell me, what encouraged both of you to start USwim in 2000?
Well, I was a coach at a local triathlon club in Manchester, and they had a regular event down at a lake in Cheshire, Boundary Water Park. But they only could use it once a year. So because I was the coach of the club, somebody said to me, could you arrange regular access to this lake? Because we don't do any open water training. And this was in the kind of like the mid 90s. Very early in the kind of like triathlon phenomenon, I suppose.
Yeah.
So what I did, I went down to the lake, arranged access, a weekly access. So for the first kind of season, I had about 12 people wandering down who I knew all their names of, and I would basically give them a training session in the lake as their coach, and they'd be ploughing around, and the word got out crazily enough. And then the year after, I'm stood there with my clipboard, expecting the 12 people, and all these cars started pouring in. There was like 70 people turned up, like help. So it kind of like found an audience, really.
Yeah.
You know, and to have a supervised open water swim with somebody down there, and we eventually got a boat in there and we put boys out, it just became much more structured and supervised. And
did that take the fun out of it at all? Or did that actually increase or encourage the fun because people felt more secure and safe?
I think for me, it was total stress.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, 60 people, I'm on my own. So there was a sense that, what have I started here? So quickly kind of like roped in friends and some family, you know, just to help cope with the numbers. But I think all the people that came down began to come down pretty regularly. And I think they loved the fact that there was water safety.
Yeah.
There was other people there as well. And you could really see them getting out the water, chatting with each other, and there's a real sense of like camaraderie amongst the attendees.
I was going to say a community. You were developing a community, weren't you?
Yeah. And it was in the really early days, so mid-90s, where people were doing those things. And when I was training for my big swims, I was having to go to the seaside and swim. I'd go to places like Abersoch and I'd swim out for an hour on my own, turn around and swim an hour back, and sometimes end up in another, another
beach,
place, Pathelli or something, in my trunks. So it was all harem scary.
Yeah. For the residents of Pathelli.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm banned.
Yeah. Honestly, anything goes down there, Dave.
Yeah. Even the Hoff.
Even the Hoff. Yeah. So, Karen, did he get you in at the water at this time, or were you a previous swimmer and your two souls collided?
Well, yes. Our two souls collided, but completely differently. So I met Dave when he set up a venue in Manchester. I wasn't part of any open water swimming community. I just used to go heads up breaststroke with my friends and then go for half a lager. After that was me. So I fell into open water actually following a back injury. So I had major spinal surgery, and that was my physio. So I found water about 13, 14 years ago, and ended up wandering down to one of Dave's sessions in Salford, and the sports masseur had gone for a dip because it was a hot day, and I booked a sports massage with the guy. He'd gone for a dip. Dave saw me hanging around and kind of went, "What are you doing?" I said, "Waiting for him." He said, "Oh, he's gone for a swim. Hop on the bed and I'll give you a massage."
Right, as you do.
And
I impersonated a masseur.
Basically impersonated a masseur. We got chatting and the rest is history. So I was very new to swimming. Then I was literally just doing it for my back, the exercise that I could do. And I think I'd set myself like a 1 mile challenge, and I was a wetsuit swimmer then. Weren't I? Yeah, wetsuit. So a lot has changed. Yes.
Yeah. Did you see, if you can remember, the vision? Did you see the vision as Dave did, or did you have to sort of come round to it? Did he have to sort of sell you the concept of there's a lot of people out there, in fact, thousands of people out there that really want to be helped to swim? Did you see that then, or?
I think I saw it completely differently because I've come from a nursing background, so I'm all about processes, flow charts, so I could see what Dave was doing, but I think the more that I got involved, the more it became structured. And from this now, I mean, years down the line, it has really, really grown. It's gone to a whole different level. So as things have got more popular and if you like, spokes have come off from a structured training venue, so you've got like waterfall dips, the wild swim and walks, the cold water, and all these things are now spoked off from a venue. That's where I've come in, I think, and really developed it onto another spectrum.
Right.
So I feel like Dave's vision was there, but it's just gone better and better with my input.
So tell me about the wild swims and walks.
Yeah, so we started those probably around COVID time. And we just do them generally off season. So we're generally very, very busy from April to August, September. the sessions are busy. We guide swimmers around the lakes and around, we're going all over now, aren't we? Jersey, we do the English Channel quite a lot. Annecy, Holland. But we started using the community that we already have down at the venue and listening to what they kind of want. And it just grew, didn't it? To meet up and have doing what we do and inviting them along with us. So we love going for a walk, seeing a tarn and jumping in. So I thought, well, why aren't we bringing all these people with us?
Exactly.
So that's how we started it.
Yeah. Which is really the sort of the birthright of wild swimming, isn't it? You know, I think we started going up to Snowdon with one of the Dunkers, Dawn, and she absolutely cannot get her head around jellyfish. She doesn't even like fish, but she can't get her head around jellyfish. So she was always, she was Dunker by heart, but not in the ocean. So she's a great explorer. She's a mountaineer. So she said, tell you what, guys, let's go up to Snowdon. And that's how we started to go up to the pools at the Watkin Path, etc. And I think that's how these things develop, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's from chatting and exploring new places together. Even it's quite tricky because it's a hobby that we like doing, but it's also our business. So it's quite tricky. So when I go out with my friends and we're just off like Watkins Pass or whatever, and we have a little weekend away and we're dunking. I'm always like, I'm just Karen. I'm not a coach. I'm not a lifeguard. I'm just having a wild swim in a crazy place. So
exactly that.
So there's two sort of worlds to it, isn't there?
Yeah, and what I do like about the kind of wild swim walks is that you walk to a kind of beautiful place. You're kind of like connecting with nature itself, because we are completely disconnected now in this modern society, aren't we? So that's kind of the wildness side of it. But you've got an opportunity with the group that you're with just to kind of touch upon loads of things on the walk.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like fast and furious down our venues where it's basically in, out, and they've gone. It's like the wild swim walks, you're with people for a day. So you develop super friendships.
Don't you?
And really get beneath the skin and connect.
Yeah.
So, and from that, we've had lone people turn up to our wild swim walks and they're friends forever. You know,
really?
Yeah,
you're almost matchmaking.
I swear, honestly, it's. Really? I mean, this is what we think so special about USwim and the community, and even the QSwim adventure side of that is we meet people. We really do connect. I think we're very much about the person. You know, it's not about me and Dave. It's about them.
Yeah.
And particularly the wild swim and walks, like Dave just said, we'll get chatting. We're really conscious of, making sure that everyone feels safe and welcome. And by the end of these days, I mean, it's just phenomenal. You see people just bonding, and then afterwards they'll say, "Oh yeah, we're all meeting next week. We're going to such and such," and then we see them coming together, and then they come to all our wild swim and walks together, and then new people are introduced from that group. It's a massive community.
Karen, you're like the Cilla Black of open water. It's by new hats.
Yeah, totally you are. Have you got any idea how many people that you're touching through USwim?
Do you know what? I think it's quite scary because I don't think me and Dave are very humble. I don't think we realise what obviously started from Dave's passion at the start and then what we've built together since. And I think more recently, lots of people are connecting with us, telling us that. They're saying, "Oh my God, guys, you set the way." A lot of people are watching what you do and they're kind of replicating that in their way. But if we just sit back the last 13 years we've done together, and we've put teams together that have done big swims, but equally we've put people together that have done a mile swim together and shared the load.
Okay,
so
as a relay.
Oh yeah, it's not just big swims, is it? We are about small things. We've had people who do 200 meters,
right?
And it's like, come on, it's
when you can't swim or you're just starting to swim, 200 meters it's huge. It is a big way.
It's huge. Yeah. So I think we fit the whole spectrum, don't we? We have we have people who set world records, and we have people whose world records might be get from the end of the dock to a boy.
And we work with people who are on the whole spectrum, don't we?
Oh, the whole spectrum.
The whole spectrum. And some of our amazing achievements is like finding a person who doubted that they could even swim from the side to a boy.
Right.
And then encouraging a couple of years later to go onto a channel relay team and them to swim the English Channel.
Yeah.
And they don't, sometimes we work with people and they don't believe they are capable of what they can achieve.
But you can see them, can't you? You can see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can see that.
But equally, I'm cutting in there, but equally we also get people who have something big up there.
Right.
And we're the ones who, after a while, are kind of going, do you know what? maybe that's just not for you.
Bit too much of a big step.
Bit big, but how about this instead?
Right.
So I think
that really is coaching, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
that sort of understanding them and understanding holistically that what they're capable of, or what you really can see they're capable of, and just thinking you know the environment they're going to be in. You have to manage that, don't you?
It's our psychic swimming ability.
There we go.
Already, I'm picking up swimming. I can see water around you as I sat here.
That's the plumbing day.
Yeah, that's the plumbing. We did the figures, and I think we had since the beginning of USwim, we probably welcomed like over 350,000 visits. So if we add up how many times people visit, so it's well close to 500,000 people who have like actually been and swam over the years.
There is a bit of a
thing. Amazing. That is just worth repeating. Almost 500,000 people in how many years?
Yeah, since the mid-90s. Yeah.
Wow. That is incredible. Yeah. A lot of people owe a lot of confidence to you, because that's what you're giving them, isn't you? You're sort of giving them confidence as much as, I guess, the skill of, well, this is how you actually do the crawl this way, the proper way.
What is great, it's almost like certainly I feel like I've tossed a stone in the middle of this lake, and all the ripples have gone out, and the ripples are people who've gone on to do big and small things. People set their own lakes up, their own small businesses. It's kind of created this kind of like ripple effect. And then the media got involved. Then you started seeing it in adverts, and generally, there's a lot more out there now. And I remember in the day, you would be seen as a kind of bit eccentric.
Yeah, right.
In Windermere with a pair of budgie smugglers on.
Yeah.
In a race with 20 other people. But now it's kind of like, it's the look, people jumping off jetties.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's become a real...
Everybody wants one of on their social media, they want one of those pictures, don't they? Yeah. Where they're sort of being a bit more extreme and a bit more out there, as you say.
Glowing with health.
Yeah.
It troubles in the distance.
Well,
the sun setting.
Lovely. What do you think is the biggest pull about open water swimming? Do you think it's that? Do you think it's that personal, I can do it? Or is it just the fact that you're taking on the weather? Or is it something else?
I think it's a combination, because we see people who are doing it for different reasons, don't we? We get some who they will literally say it's just about the chat and the cake. I just come for the chat and the cake. They're in the water for a minute, it's the cake. And then equally get a lot of people who want that quiet personal space, who they see it as, I don't like to call it therapy, and I hate the word cold water therapy, because I think therapy is different and it's more professional. I think it's more of a coping mechanism for whatever. So I think there's lots of different aspects to why people do it. I personally do it for different reasons on different days. So one, I might be feeling stressed, so I'm thinking, do you know what, I just need some time out, and I'm drawn to the cold for that. Often Dave will say, you're a bit ratty now, get in the tub. And do you know what I mean? It's for that. Right. Yeah. But other times it's like next weekend we're in Windermere, for example, and it's, and I pulled some friends for a full weekend up there, and it's because I want a bit of a laugh, I want fun, I want a bit of adventure.
Yeah.
So there's different reasons.
Yeah, first of all, we're descended from fishes, aren't we?
Yes.
So me and you, 500 million years ago.
Yeah, we got gills.
We're dragging ourselves up through this mud flats. So it's in our DNA. If we look back far enough, that's what we were. And I think we've always had that connection with water. And we went from amphibians to mammals. And in these crazy, busy lives that we live now, where we're disconnected from ourselves, from nature, we're drawn back to nature for healing, for connection. So you can see this wild, they call it wild, when I grew up, it's just swimming.
Yes.
Jumping in the canal, going to Abersoch, but swimming, we're never wild.
No.
So that sense of people having to do something a little bit out of the ordinary to connect themselves, it's a birthright of us as fish.
It is, yeah. And as humans, which we've now evolved into. Yeah. So would you say is there a secret? No, not would you. Is there a secret formula to balancing safety, spirit, and spontaneity?
I think the secret formula there, I think that the thing that links all is passion. And I think if you've got a person who's passionate about, let's say, open water swimming, passionate enough to respect it, have huge respect for the cold, the tidal conditions, the nature itself, and not always be humble. You can never get carried away with yourself in the open water. It'll just turn around and bite you. Living close to the sea and all its various conditions. But I would say it's passion, people being involved in it passionately enough to want to make it safe, make sure the people that go are safe, be respectful. So I think that's one of the things, isn't it? I think that links open water swimmers is just cake, coffee, cake.
Dave's so deep, isn't he? I'm just cake. Cake and giggles, connection.
That's great. That's great. Well, and there's a sort of a cake, connection, and giggles is a sort of a triangle of good feeling, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
How do you prepare? Bearing in mind that Dave's more sort of scientific and he's sort of looking at it that way. You're a little bit not superficial, but definitely more into the this is a buzz. How do you prepare new swimmers when you first meet somebody who comes down and said, well, I've come down because so-and-so has said, and they rock up in the car, they don't know anybody, and how do you get over that? How do you get them in with you?
Yeah, so I spend quite a lot of time actually on land, just finding out a little bit more about them. So first of all, can they swim? Because we do get lots of people, especially after the Wim Hof programme, who would come down because they think it's a good idea and they've done some showers, who would come down and just say, I want to give it a go. I can shower, or I've sat in a tub for 20 minutes, I'm good. And I always try to respect what they've done and what they already know, but then I take them through a little process, a little script that I have about safety, about what to expect from a breathing point of view. Often, depending how nervous or what vibe I'm getting that off them, I've actually gone in with them and done it as a supportive thing. Or we've got lots of buddies at our venue. That's what's so great, isn't it? And we could just call some of the girls and go,
sure.
And,
just hold this.
And I'm saying girls because it's predominantly women, let's be honest.
Yeah, it is.
And say, guys, she wants to get in. Are you happy once I've had a bit of a chat with her? And they'll support them in. Yeah. So I just like to make sure that they know that the breath can go, what the skin can feel like, to stay within their limits and just be sensible for the first time, really, and what to expect after, how to get changed. Because we want them back, don't we? We want them back. We want them in the communities, and we want them to have a positive experience.
Absolutely. So, Dave, why aren't more men doing it? Because Karen, you were dead right. You're dead right.
I think it's incredibly social, first of all, and I think women are just more connected generally in terms of social media. Just generally being comfortable talking with you.
They chat a lot, don't they?
Yeah, and I think us men, we've kind of brought up to bottle our emotions, and it's seen as a little bit of a weakness to talk to other people and ask for help. And just to share, your thoughts. And I grew up as the man of the house,
right?
The son in air,
yeah.
And it was kind of it was seen as a weakness to cry and all those things,
to show any crack at all,
to show. And I think I think open water swimming is incredibly supportive, and there's that community. And I think men are in it, but not to the same degree of women. And I think it's generally that. And the demographics, it's like 70-80% women.
Yeah.
Generally middle-aged-ish. Especially in the cooler temperatures. And the men might be training for events, doing triathlons, right. Very goal-orientated, focused.
Yeah.
As opposed to social.
Yes.
So
yeah. So it's whether cold swimming could ever become our man cave. I guess for the ones of us who are males and who do swim regularly, in a way, it is our sort of man cave, because certainly with down in Abersoch, there's 9 or 10 guys who come, and probably 6 or 7 of us regularly. So we've, of what, mid-30s?
And you were in Ireland recently, weren't you? Visiting Ireland, visiting a friend, and you saw that the male swimming community over there was incredible.
Oh, it was huge, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was massive. And everywhere you went, I was like near Blackrock and the 40 foot. And all day, every day, there's these groups of guys who've all retired, who just meet up with a little flask, have a dip, have a chat. And I was like, this is awesome.
Right.
It was, and I sat there and just chatted because one, I love the accent, and two, they were so bloody warm and welcoming. And they'd heard my northern accent. We're like, well, where are you? Come and sit and have a chat. That's lovely. And I was like, oh my God, yours is lovely too.
Yeah.
But I think, we actually do have probably about 60 regulars, maybe the polar swim, in the winter swims. We probably have 8 men.
Do you?
Yeah, they're regulars, aren't they? And we are aware of little groups that do meet up.
Yeah.
And I'd say a bit more of the wilder. They're going to a safe place where they can stand up and they'll just dunk their shoulders under and have some time out. There's lots of little support groups out there now. And that's been great to see. But we don't really get them on the wild swim and walk. So we may get a husband that's been dragged because it's the birthday or something.
And I think one of the things that we realised with the wild swim and walks, or our version of that, was that you've got to sort of remember about that wherever you get to, you have to strip off. Even if you've got your cosy on and then you get in the water and you come out, but you've got to strip off because you can't carry on walking up a mountain with wet trunks. So, and I think women have got a bit more of a sort of a level on that. They okay, well, if that's what we've got to do, we've got to strip off. And I think guys are a bit more, or am I just putting men into a bit of a square box?
You're speaking for yourself there, I think.
Yeah, probably not. No. I'll go in.
Dave remembers his trunks.
I'll go in with my trunks, without my trunks.
Whenever I did big swims in the past, seriously, I'd swim without trunks.
Would you?
Yeah, I didn't like the feel of the constriction. And the fact it affected my tan lines. So when I did like 10-hour swims, I would just trunks off, and we swam, didn't we? We swam Loch Orr. Went to Loch Orr, and I was with the relay team,
right? And
I jumped in and then threw my trunks on board, and Karen and these 3 other guys were going, "Good Lord, put your trunk, that's disgusting." I said, that's the way I roll.
Right.
No trunks.
Right.
And before the end of that swim, nobody wore any costumes. Nobody.
And we did IM. There were a bit of backstroke, breaststroke.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So,
you never say that swimming isn't a leveler.
There was a beautiful picture of actually when we ended out in front of Kilchurn Castle of us naked stood at the finish.
Oh, really?
And I went in the outdoor swimmer, I think it was.
Yeah. They obviously didn't have a lot of wild stock in that lake then. No wild stock that bothered you.
Scared them out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, what's a really nice story that you've heard or you can remember from USwim when you think about the almost 500,000 people that have been through your hands? Is there something that really sort of sticks out and thinks, gosh, that makes this all worthwhile?
I think for me, it's a group of ladies that joined us who would all come together after having significant loss in their life of children. Mm-hmm. And they'd all met at a support group local to them, all at various stages of loss. And didn't they? And they all really honestly came together through the water. They connected through the water. It helped them through the grief, and they're still as solid as a rock as a group now. And Dave took them to swim the length of Windermere as a relay team.
Okay.
And yeah, I think it's them because good God, even speaking about it now gets me all choked.
Really?
Yeah, that was a really powerful experience.
Very powerful, yeah.
It had a real cathartic effect on those ladies to be together, to talk, and then feel as though they were doing this incredible thing, and they felt the presence of the people who passed. So it was a very powerful thing. And
they're still together now, supporting each other. It's lovely, isn't it? And we're on about the community.
Yeah.
Equally, they come to the wild swim walks, don't they, quite often, and they bring other people that they've ended up meeting up and saying, look, this is what we do, that we find this, it really helps us, and it's a really safe space. So come along, and they hustle people into their little nest, don't they? And so I think it's stories like that. God, there's loads of them though. There's so many of them.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I just think back to last year's summer solstice swim, whereby everybody had these illuminated kind of tow floats.
Okay.
And there was a couple of 100 people wading into a lake, and it was this beautiful clear night, and just swimming around the buoys. And I just thought how magical to see this kind of like all these lovely people all lit up and all in various stages of fancy dress and things. Yeah. And it was like quite a spiritual of like natural experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a masses of like experiences. Whether it's one person, I remember giving a swimming lesson to a person who was really struggling in this lesson, but I just saw something in that person, just the mentality. And I actually said in that first session that you can swim the English Channel. I'm going to get you across the English Channel. It might be as in a relay team. And he was like, nah, you can never. Impossible. That's ridiculous. 2 years later, you know, he was on an English Channel team, you know, and it was just like, even now we laugh about it when we meet him. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be talking to you for too long. You're going to rope me into something.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is literally what people say. They'll say, oh, if they see me stood on the dock side or at the lake side and we're chatting, Dave's like, don't talk to her for too long. You never know what you're going to end up signing yourself up.
No,
but I love that. I think our energy and our love for helping us, but it really, I think that comes across, and it can be quite contagious. And sometimes we just give each other a little bit of a nip because it's like, right, okay, back off a bit. Because we're like, oh my God, we just saw you swimming. You're beautiful. Did you swim as a child? And they're like, well, I did, yeah. And you're like, oh, what are you thinking? And they're like, I'm thinking anything.
I'm thinking
like, well, I'm thinking, and I'm like, I'm thinking this. Yeah. I'm like, really?
I think the great thing about sort of dunking, open water swimming is you're going to meet variations of yourself. You're going to meet like-minded people, because that's why people who are normally open-minded give things a go, you know, pretty resilient, you know, up for a bit of a laugh, don't take themselves too seriously. You're basically meeting kind of like comrades in arms, really.
Absolutely.
Swim.
Yeah.
You know, and we find that the people who come down with loads of ego and walking around like, you know, 10 men, they come once. And they're kind of like, they don't come again. It's not their place. The people who come down want to have a chat, don't take themselves seriously. It's like that, isn't it? It's very much meeting yourself at these kind of places.
Yeah. And then the community just embraces you, welcomes you, and you're part of it. And then you that must pervade through, and you see somebody else new, and you just encourage them, and this is what happened to me. And I know one of our dunkers, Eve, she's somebody who you know, Karen, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. We go back to Tameside General Hospital as paediatric nurses. I love Eve. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
She is she's like a water baby. She'll get in, because we always go down, and this is a real aside, but I'll tell you, we always go down for about 8 o'clock in the morning. Eve, whenever she's in Abersoch, she'll be in the water already, and she'll come out later or after everybody else. She's got, I don't know how she does it. She has just a normal bikini on, and she can just withstand it, and she just swims up and down to the slipway, and it's just nice to see.
Yeah, it's awesome actually seeing those pictures with Eve on.
You managed to catch some.
Yeah, right, absolutely. Great. It was awesome. Yeah. It fetched back lots of the memories of me and Eve, but we're not in the water, funnily enough. Well, you must make that happen.
Okay, so thank you so far. With what I always ask people is, I'm going to ask you a question which somebody else has left for you, i.e. a previous guest. So no heads up, and I won't tell you who it was. And then when we're off air, before I go, I'll ask you to give me a question for the next. So the question I've got for you is, Karen, is if you could swim anywhere with anybody, who would it be and where?
Oh, golly. God, that's a well-hard question.
Come on, you can do this.
Do you want me to ask Dave while you think?
Yes, ask Dave.
Okay, Dave, my question to you is there anything that you've ever said that you really believe is the right thing in USwim or in life that people have always taken exception to, that they've always sort of said, you're a bit mad on that one?
That's a complicated question there.
Yeah, it is.
My head is spinning. Repeat the question again.
Okay. Is there anything that ever happened to you, or that you've said that you sort of say, this is my belief, and that people just, you could see they want to get round it, but they just disagree with you?
I believe we are incredible. First of all, every one of us are miraculous. You know, when you kind of like look at what we are capable of, you realize that we are incredible. So I always think I'm fortunate that I'm surrounded by people who are doing incredible things. And it just affirms to me like the brilliance and kind of like majesty of the human being, of mentally when they apply themselves to doing something huge, how they can push through adversity, and how people can physically apply themselves to training, especially adults. We get a lot of adults, people with busy lives, to find time to train to do big swims and make sacrifices that they do. And a lot of them doubt themselves.
Right.
And I'm thinking, you do not know how incredible you are. You are brilliant. But people just doubt themselves. So when I say to people, you are incredible, your achievements are incredible, and they're like, oh no, I'm not really. So when I say that to people and they doubt themselves, but I fundamentally believe that human beings are just incredible organisms.
Brilliant. Karen?
Did you go off there, love?
I did. I got carried away a bit there. Climb every mountain.
No, I can't answer.
Who are you going to swim with? You must be. You could always say Dave,
Yeah, well, he's too fast. That's the problem. Otherwise, I would. God, honestly, I really don't know. I have a swim person that I really, really want to do. Who I do it with, I don't know. But it's Gdynia to Hell in Poland.
Sorry, Gdynia
to Hell. So I was meant to do it this year, but it was weathered out for the storm.
Right. Do I say? I'm sorry to sort of be literal. Is Gdynia one end and Hell is the other?
Hell is the other. It is, yeah.
Right.
So
and what is it like?
It's across the Baltic Sea in Poland. It's about 11 miles long, something like that. And I would like to swim that with... Oh, I don't know, honestly.
Don't say some good-looking Irishman.
A good-looking Irishman.
There we go. Well, let me just ask you to both of you hold on to those dreams, because you're making them come true. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much both for joining me today and for welcoming to your home. It's really, really lovely to be here. And may the spirit of the Dunkers go with you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Always nice welcoming a Welshie into our house.
Yeah, well, we have to stray over the border sometime, Dave.